Yo, what up, Underground? It's your boy, the king, the one and only, the 43, and I'm back bringing you another great edition of gameplay that I don't even know because I ain't got nothing on my screen. You know what it do. Alright, so in this video, I got a pretty interesting topic. This gameplay is going to be really good, I hope. It might be like a 22 and 15, one better than Woody's 21 and 15 on Hijacked Headquarters the other day, but that remains to be seen by me. Of course, you all know. Actually, I'm not going to put the score in the title just to add a little suspense. But I want to talk about pausing time. And more specifically, pausing my life. I've been thinking recently that if I could just hit the pause button on what's going on in my life right now and just take like 5 years off. You know, I'm not talking about going back in time and changing things or seeing what it's like in the future. I just want to have everything stand still, and I just want to consume as much information about certain things that I haven't gotten a chance to. I'd probably start off with just reading thousands and thousands of comic books. The Hulk, the Flash, the Avengers, see where all the storylines go, Superman, Spider-Man, see all the different, type of storylines from different writers. I think that'd be interesting. And then after that, I'd probably watch all the superhero movies to see how well they really do emulate it. Because I've heard people say, that the Avengers wasn't even that good because it might not have followed something from the comic book. And then I sit there and I'm like, well, I don't know. It looked good to me. I hate when I don't understand references. And then I would take a solid year of just going through footage of LeBron's progression from high school to Cleveland to him not being able to put the team on his back to those games in Dallas and in Chicago to last year him playing the Pacers and the Celtics. And I'm not talking about like just looking at highlights. I'm talking about watching the full games, hundreds and hundreds of games. And then I would immediately compare that to Kobe and Jordan. Why couldn't Jordan win in the 80s? I would love to know that. I don't know the answer. How come they lost in Boston when he had, 63 or 65 in double overtime? And Bird said that it was God playing basketball. How come they didn't win the game? I would love to just go back and spend hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours watching all that footage. And then of course, gotta go back for football. I would love to see Adrian Peterson in college, RG3 in college. I'd love to see Vince Young playing at Texas, going up against Reggie Bush in USC, and see Matt Leinart and Mark Sanchez and see why they even had a chance at the NFL and how they've done nothing and have sucked asshole. Love to see Tebow. I wouldn't really want to see the old the Steelers dynasties and the Cowboys. Fuck that. Like Joe Gibbs. Nah, I'm talking about just more recent stuff. I'd spend hours watching footage for them. And then, once I felt like I consumed enough sports information, I'd go back to sports. And, my boy Tiger Woods. Just watch the full broadcast, the original broadcast of the 97 Masters, and see what it's like to win by, what was it, 17, I think? I think he finished 21 under and second place was 4 under. I'm not exactly sure. And then the Tiger Slam in 2000 from the US Open to the 2001 Masters. And just see the difference between now and the way he used to play 10 years ago. And of course, after watching Tiger Woods, I'd have to go back and see Nicklaus play and see if he really is, the Golden Bear with his 18 majors, and see if he really did have the ultimate competition. And then I'd have to see Sampras play and all of the tennis greats, and see Serena and how she's dominated today's age of tennis. I wouldn't touch baseball, to be honest. Actually, it would be interesting to see Barry Bonds before and after the roids. And quick point, what would be worse? RG3 having his best year already behind him, or Tiger Woods not winning a major ever again? That's a tough call right there. That is a tough question. I don't know the answer. I'm leaning towards Tiger, but RG3 already having his best year would definitely be something hard to accept and imagine as a Redskins fan. But yeah, just the sports knowledge that I would consume would be ridiculous. And then I would of course have to go into cinema, watch the golden age of film in the early 50s, and then see how the fucking like hippie movement and all the drugs and the music changed movies in the late 60s and the art renaissance in the late 60s and early 70s with films like Taxi Driver. You know, just totally crazy films that hardly ever get made today. And then the birth of the blockbuster with Jaws, all the way through Star Wars and Indiana Jones, and then the campy 80s horror movie films, and then the 90s when some weird films started coming out again with Natural Born Killers, and then the year of 99, how there was just dozens and dozens of fabulous movies made, including The Matrix, and I think American Beauty and American Psycho. Actually, The Matrix might have been 2000. Saving Private Ryan was 99 though. Pretty sure, yeah. And then of course, the last 12 years has just been total emergence of CGI and animation taking over. If you look at just Transformers, it's crazy. And that ties in with video games. I never really experienced Zelda or Mega Man or Tomb Raider or Contra or Metroid Prime. Basically just Mario. I would love to have just a Nintendo or Super Nintendo and have access to all of those games, and then get an N64 and play Ocarina of Time and just consume the information, you know. For some reason, I find just drama and storytelling fascinating, which, you know, might sound kind of nerdy. Like, sports is like the perfect realm for it too. I saw this ridiculous fact about football. Apparently the average football game only has 10 minutes and 43 seconds of action when it lasts for 3 hours. So that means for 2 hours and 49 minutes and 17 seconds, you are waiting to see what happened, or you're of course reviewing a play with replay, and that builds so much suspense. And it's honestly like a movie plot too. You know, the first quarter, the inciting incident is going to be whoever takes the early lead or the early stumble. And then second quarter into halftime, you see what your team that wants to win, you see the problems they face, you understand what you need to do. Third quarter is just more rising action building up to the climax. And then the fourth quarter is, will your team get it done? And the amount of suspense that builds up every Sunday is great for just drama in general and entertainment. And of course basketball is very similar, but the 82 regular season game schedule makes it a lot less suspenseful, whereas 16, every single game matters, you know, especially with college football too, where I think they play, anywhere from like 11 to 14. I've just recently been getting into college football. I've always played the NCAA games though. And I never got an Xbox, original Xbox. Never got to experience really Halo 2 on Xbox Live, which is a shame. There's just so many franchises and stories out there. You know, never played Metal Gear Solid. Never really tapped into the Prince of Persia. Only played a little bit of Fear 2. Luckily, I have experienced Assassin's Creed, which is pretty damn good. And then the amount of television that you could watch, oh my god. You know, anywhere from Comedy Genius, like Seinfeld, to just total, I guess, I don't know, entertainment. I don't even know what to call Friends. Like, yeah, it would be cool. Ross is total scrub though, him and Band of Brothers, oh my god. But then, how much time would you have to give up to just watch every single episode of Pokemon. Just like not in a row, but like constantly, like episodes and episodes and episodes in a day. It'd be a lot of time. There's no way you could afford it. And I'd love to do that with Yu-Gi-Oh too. I try to, but Hulu commercials are tough. I kind of mentioned music earlier. Love to just listen to like every single Beatles song, every single like Elvis song, Rolling Stones, and then just skip the crappy disco age area. And then I'd love to hear, and I guess I would hear, the development of hip hop, because I've never really gotten into rap, but I'm sure that would be one way too. And then just compare it to today's junk, Lil Wayne, man. And then I could take it even onto another level. I mentioned Tiger earlier. I would spend hours going through his closet and just taking all of his clothes, because his clothes are the best in the world. And then I would go, if I could find like a shoe factory with every single like Nike shoe or Jordan shoe made, or just basketball shoe in general, I would spend an eternity of just getting size 11 of every shoe I wanted, from any Jordan to the Flight Posits to some of Garnett's shoes, Hardaway's, LeBron's, Kobe's moon boots, even KD's got some nice looking J's, or shoes I should say, not Jordans. I mean, I could just spend so much time looking and buying shoes with money I don't have. Recently, I kind of actually tried to fulfill this dumb fantasy, and I bought the volume 6, or the volumes 1 through 6 of Scott Pilgrim, and I'm already on volume 4. I think I read volume 3 in like one sitting. It's a really good read, and I can tell that whoever made that movie did a fantastic job of adapting it, because they might have left out a lot of stuff you'd have to in 6-volume work, but as far as just characters and bringing the book to life, unbelievable job. Ironically, it's probably the best. It'll probably go down as the best video game movie ever made when it's not even based on a video game. And as far as adaptations go, almost all stories in Hollywood and video games and books are adaptations, whether it be Harry Potter movies based solely on Harry Potter, or if it's James Bond based on Ian Fleming wanting to be James Bond, or if it's just comedies where it's just a bunch of scenes and stuff that the writer actually went through in life. I had to write some screenplays for my class last semester, and a lot of it just came out of my experiences, and I talk to my dad all the time about stuff that would be funny for a movie that we've experienced and stuff that I made up. That's all storytelling is telling somebody else about your experience. And no film or anything is 100% original, because it has to go from the writer's mind and experience onto the paper, which is one version of it, and then that has to be produced, and while shooting, that's another version of it, and the editor makes his version of it, so it's possible 4 different versions. And hopefully I can be the guy that's the editor, the final touch of it, the last influence on the story that will potentially make millions of dollars and influence millions of people. And that was the end of take 1. This is the beginning of take 2. First of all, I want to apologize for saying 37 times. And second of all, I left out a lot of stuff. I would definitely watch or read or just consume Naruto, for sure. And that was the end of take 2. Wow, pretty failure, pretty whack. But the one thing that actually put this into motion, I was like, yeah, I'm definitely gonna make a video about this, was when I realized how awesome it would be to sit down on your couch and just watch Bugs Bunny and Looney Tunes and Acme and just all of the great cartoons from, Sylvester to Donald Duck and Goofy, all of those fools. I think that would have to be a priority because that is some of the best entertainment in the history of our lives. So I hope you guys enjoyed. That was some of the best, I think, KSG gameplay that you'll see as far as, just getting skilled kills. That sounds so lame. Just doing work, that's not a double nuclear or anything, but I was putting in work on Carrier in that second round. And then I hope you enjoyed that 30-0 start in a league play game.